The October 18th, 2022 meeting of the Union County Zoning Board of Adjustment is now in session. My name is Darren Green. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Union County Zoning Board of Adjustment. Also sitting on today's board are Larry Britt, Mark Tilley, Bill McGuirt, alternates Dion Edwards, and Francis Ward. Also present will be Jim King, the Senior Planner and Zoning Administrator, Amy Griffin, the Clerk to the Zoning Board, and Derek Thurman, our Attorney. There are three types of hearings that our board looks at, and they are the applications for a variance from regulations in the zoning ordinance, or an appeal from a decision or interpretation of the zoning administrator, or an application for special use permit. The order of each case will be as follows. All parties who plan to give testimony, pro or con, must complete the green card, which is located up here at the desk, in order to speak, and you must be sworn in to give testimony. A planning staff member will explain why a permit was denied or why a variance was requested or the nature of the special use permit application. The board may question the planning staff member. The applicant may question the planning staff member, and then the applicant will present testimony for his or her case. The board may then question the applicant. The planning staff member or persons in opposition may question the applicant. The applicant may present sworn witnesses. They will be subject to cross-examination. Other parties wishing to speak pro or con will be given reasonable time in order to do so under sworn testimony. They will be subject also to cross-examination. The planning staff member and then the applicant will be given an opportunity for rebuttal. After hearing the case, the board will review the case and render a decision. This is usually done following the case, the close of the public hearing, and the board's deliberation. However, the board may elect to take up to 30 days to render a decision. You may remain present during the deliberations, or you may call the Union County Planning Department after the session to receive the decision of the board. All exhibits must remain with the board. Please hand them first to the clerk for tagging. If you feel there's a conflict of interest of any member of the board or an association that would prejudice your case, please let it be known at the start of the case. We are a quasi-judicial board and can only accept sworn testimony. No hearsay evidence is admissible. Appeal from this board is to the Union County Superior Court. You will have 30 days from the date of the board's written decision in which to make an appeal in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 160A-388E. Please remind everyone to please turn off your cell phones. At this time, I will determine that we do have a quorum, which is 5 members. Quorum's 3, but we have 5. Also, we'll note that since we have 6 of us up here, Francis, you will be the voting alternate tonight, given that Dion was the voting alternate the last time we had a member missing. If there's any changes or additions to the minutes, we will ask for that to come. I'm introducing the case. Okay. All right, I'm done with that. I've done my speech. They give me this stuff I have to read. It's all lawyer speak. Y'all don't know about those, do you? I don't know what to do with those people. But all right. We do not have any minutes tonight, so I need to determine, again, we have a quorum. Public hearing, determination of any conflicts of interest for special use 2022 SUP 02. Does any board member have a conflict with this case? Okay, hearing none, I will read the case. It is special use permit. Best Box Acquisitions LLC is requesting a special use permit to construct and operate a 2-story Type 2 self-storage facility on the property located at 3713 South Providence Road, more specifically identified by Union County as parcel number 06-138-017A. Ask Mr. King, is the petition complete?
It is now, yes.
It is now. Okay. All right, I'd ask for a motion to hear the petition. Motion.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Mr. King, if you come up this time, be sworn. I believe we've already had a continuance, so we're not going to ask for those again. All right. Do you swear that the truth, the whole truth, and the whole truth nothing but the truth to the matter, to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth to the matter at hand. I'm sorry.
I do.
I haven't done this in a while. That's why Rick does this. I don't do it no more. All right, sir, if you could please give us a synopsis from you on this case.
I will be happy to. All right. So, as you said before, the property is located at 3713 South Providence Road. And it's identified by parcel number 061380017A. Applicant is Best Box Acquisitions LLC, and the owner is Providence Commons LLC. They are requesting special use permit to construct and operate a type 2 self-storage facility. There are some, well, the property is zoned B4CZ, which is community business conditional zoning. And one of the conditions of the conditional zoning is the facility cannot exceed 2 stories. So when they originally submitted, it was 3 stories, and they've come back and amended their application to reflect a 2-story building now to show that they're in compliance with the conditional rezoning. Conditional rezoning allows for this type of use provided that they get the special use permit. Now, staff had some concerns from the start. I haven't really had an opportunity to update this PowerPoint because we have been receiving information and documentation on a day-by-day basis. But I can say that we did receive a letter from Union County Public Works, and there is no sewer capacity for the location. So they're going to have to do well and septic. One of the reasons why they asked for the continuation was that we needed some documentation from them that that the soils were conducive to support a septic system out there, which I do believe that Mr. Duggan's going to provide that as new evidence tonight, a sealed documentation from a soil scientist, and I'll let him and the applicant speak more about the septic system. They also, the elevations that are in your packet was what we had currently when we put the agenda together. As of today, I have received some updates of the elevations, which I do believe that Mr. Duggan's going to introduce as new evidence as well. Some of the other things, well, those were the 2 big things right there. And then the site layout, that they've done some revisions to the site layout. And you should find a new site plan laying at the dais in front of you, which I do believe will be introduced as new evidence as well. Most recently, I did want to talk about, we have received phone calls from the town of Waxhaw saying they have some development interest in the parcel to the immediate south of this, which is not part of the overall development. And they were wanting to do a connection. The applicant has shown on there that they're willing to extend the right-of-way to the property line. And I believe that Mr. on that application talks about a cross-access easement, is that correct? Correct. And, but to the best of my knowledge, nobody is here from Waxhaw or the adjacent property to request any type of stub out at this time. Waxhaw had mentioned via phone conversation that they would like to see it, but they're not here to testify to that, so that's hearsay on my behalf. The existing sidewalk has, with construction, everything going on, become degraded, and staff feels that, it's one of the conditions of the special use permit is that the sidewalk be reconstructed to current regulations. And then there were some concerns through the review process that the fire marshal has some concerns about fire truck circulation, but I will let the applicant speak to that in more detail. So this is the site right here. The actual out parcel in question is that in the yellow, but the overall development is outlined in the red. Providence Commons owns the majority of the property. They've sold. The north out parcel was Caliber Collision, then just due south of Caliber Collision was Pet Boys, and now Best Box would be the next out parcel.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the yellow parcel is the parcel we're talking about?
The yellow is the parcel that we're talking about, that is
The
correct.
parcel beside it is Pep Boys?
The parcel just to the north of that is vacant, and the parcel
Okay.
north to that is.
That's Pep Boys, and then
Boys.
Caliber is, you know.
And Calaveras.
So which one is the one that the town of Waxhaw is talking about developing or wanting?
Right here.
That
where
one,
my
okay.
Cursor is, yeah, this
Okay.
one right here.
All right. And that's in the town of Waxhaw, it's not in.
That
you-
is in the town of Waxhaw.
Gotcha.
This is just an aerial of the site, so you can kind of get a feel of where it's at and what's around it. You can see that they did get their erosion sediment control permit from the state of North Carolina, and they have done some preliminary grading out there. And then this site plan right here was the one that I had as of the middle of September when the packets went out. And I don't think there's a whole lot of deviation between this one and what's submitted tonight. It's very close. But in the site plan, they are showing where the septic field's going to go. They are showing that they're going to complete the secondary access. When I'm talking about the secondary access, I'm talking about the secondary access to the actual overall development, which is right here. The other access is to the north and between Pet Boys and Caliber Collision.
So this has its own entrance, basically, is what you're saying, off of
Basically,
Providence? Okay.
And,
Will that connect to the other?
yes.
I see like a road behind Pep
Yes.
Boys, I guess that's
It does-
gonna,
it will connect to,
to the other access.
yeah, it will run parallel to Providence Road
All right.
behind the properties to the other
I see,
entrance.
okay.
And then they're also showing here they're going to build the road out to this portion right here, and the rest of it is just going to remain right away.
Okay,
These elevations were the ones I had when the agenda package went out. They have provided new elevations to me today, which are much more in line with the conditional rezoning and also much more in line with what the town of Waxhaw was requesting. So I'm just going to move right through these elevations, and I'll let them present those new elevations as new evidence. So as far as zoning, it's currently zoned B4 CZ for, conditional zoning. Property is almost entirely surrounded by the town of Waxhaw with a little portion to the north, which is in the county's jurisdiction, which is zone R40. Development status is listed as undeveloped, but as you can see, we've had 2 requests come before you already that have been approved. This will be the 3rd, and there's plans to move forward with further development on the property. As far as environmental constraints, this wetlands area here is no longer there. This one still exists, and they've done some tree mitigation around that and to preserve that area and protect it. The Providence Road is proposed to become a 4-lane road with curb and gutter in the future. Won't be in my time frame with the county. The land use plan does call for this.
I rebuke that.
So, land use plan does call for this to be commercial retail. And as you can see, it is almost fully surrounded by the town of Waxhaw. Now, staff recommendations, as always, the top 2 are on every recommendation we make. Must comply with all local, state, and federal regulations, must comply with the Union County Development Ordinance. So this S2 screen that we're talking about, this is around the entire 27-acre development, not just this one parcel. There's a portion of this parcel that will be affected by it. That'll be the south property line. But other than that, it would follow the property line of the entire 27-acre development. Must comply with the approved tree survey and mitigation plan. And I did notice on the site plan that Chris submitted tonight as new evidence, there showed some trees being taken out, and those trees will have to be mitigated per the ordinance. And I just want to put that in the record. That's not really a condition because the ordinance requires it. Building frontage must face South Providence Road, which I do believe that the new elevations will reflect that. Buildings shall be constructed from materials listed in the conditions of the approved rezoning for the Waxhaw-Nixon conditional rezoning. Building materials should match or be similar to that of Caliber Collision and Pep Boys. Right-of-way to be extended to adjacent parcel to the south. Sidewalk needs to be constructed to current standards. Must be developed in accordance with the site-specific plan, including right-of-way dedication. Must have an improved engineered septic system. Must fully comply with all conditions of the approved Waxhaw-Nixon conditional rezoning. Must construct the southern access off Providence Road to the full extent of the out parcel. Incorporate the town of Waxhaw's comments in the building design and need North Carolina driveway permit. At that time, that concludes my opening of this case. If the board has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them at this time. And if not, we have the applicants present.
All right, I have a question. So I see on the site plan, a septic drain field way in the back by the property line. And how is that connected? What properties are being crossed?
Okay, you wanna, that's more of a.
Well, that's, okay.
That's more of a question for the applicant right there.
Excuse me?
That's a question more that the applicant would be able to answer.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay. We'll let them answer. I had the same question, so we'll let them answer that.
Okay.
You got it?
Well, I have one.
Okay,
Who runs the sewer plant right up the road? The county or Waxhaw?
so there's only two sewer systems in Union County. One is owned by the county, one's owned by the city of Monroe.
Okay,
As
well,
far
my
as
question
municipal
is,
systems, there's a couple of private systems.
did the county not allocate space in that sewer system for future businesses?
So this is served by 12 Mile. 12 Mile right now, is my understanding, is at 98% capacity, and that they are not doing any permitting at the time. Well, permitting's on a day-by-day basis, depending on how flows are calculated. Sometimes flows, the percentage goes up, other times the percentage will go down. Really has a lot to do with rainfall too, because when you have a lot of rainfall and it gets into the sewer system, and that water has to be treated, then it throws those allocations up, or not allocations, but it throws those percentages, that percentage up higher.
Well, the reason I ask, I thought a few years ago that they allocated a reserve in the sewer plants for businesses. That's the way it was supposed to have been. There was supposed to have been a reserve held back for businesses. And it was even stated that some of the developments that was holding up or had like credits built up, if they didn't use them in a certain length of time, they'd have been took away and give to other places.
Well, now, I don't want to, I can't really talk for Public Works, but I think that there was some legislation passed, and operative word is think. There was legislation passed that said that you could not reserve capacity. It's first come, first serve. And so I know that there were some discussions about that with the development over off of Gold Mine Road, where the county owns a lot of property, it's industrial, and they're trying to draw up an industrial park per se. It's where ATI built their new structure out there. And I know that when that was going on, they were talking about trying to reserve capacity, and Ms. Panico with Public Works had said something to the extent that they were not allowed to do that.
Not a very good way to entice businesses and to employ the people of the county.
Do
I'll
understand.
say this as a political statement. I guarantee you, I'd like to see the county make, the next time the town of Indian Trail wants to approve 400 new townhomes, I'd like for them to make them put in a sewer plant. But anyway, they won't, but that's okay. I'm sorry. Carry on. Any other questions from Mr. King?
I guess the septic, the applicant.
Well, we'll let him handle that.
Yeah, I'll let the applicant speak to the septic system.
If we need you, we'll call you.
Very good. I'm here to answer questions about the ordinance.
All right, those who would like to speak in favor of this petition, and the applicant can come forward, all of you, everybody who thinks they're going to speak. Let's get you all up here now, and we'll get your hands on the Bible, and we'll swear you in, and, man, there's a bunch of you.
Left hand on the Bible, raise your right.
Left on the Bible, raise your right. This is the judge right here, he knows the truth. All right, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the case at hand? Thank you all, and please make sure you fill out the little green slip of paper there. And Mr. Attorney, is it Duggan or Dugan?
Duggan.
Like a Duggan, like you went Duggan for
That's
fish.
Farmer Duggan.
Northern version.
Hey, that's
That's
one,
right.
that-
Farmer
if
Duggan,
you're from
I know.
south, it's a dude.
One G's a Dugan.
Please state your name, just for the
Sure.
record.
Chairman, members of the board, council, staff. Christopher Duggan from the Union County Bar. I here to represent the applicant and the owner of the properties in question. I'm going to try to see if this flash drive works here. I opened it up and, there we go. I'm going to put this down here. I've been practicing my technology. We'll see how it works. All right. Theoretically, there we go. We're here for this application for the special use permit to allow for the development of best box storage. There is going to be a lot of questions that you might have regarding the septic, and we're prepared to answer that here for you this evening. Tonight I have the developer, I have the owner of the property, as well as the financial analyst, traffic impact, and engineer. We'd ask that this board take into evidence the application that has been submitted, take it in as evidence as a whole.
We will receive that as Exhibit A,
Thank you.
the entire packet.
And what I want to do, if I may, mark as Exhibit B. These are concept drawings, and I think it might give us a little bit of a better hand as we move forward in the process, as well as admitting this pamphlet here that has both the elevations as well as the concept.
Was this part of the application or?
No, that one I'm going to ask to be admitted as Exhibit
Exhibit
C,
Okay, gotcha.
which is
Wanna make
the site plan, the revised
Thank you, sir.
site plan. So, this project, as you saw from Mr. King's presentation, has gone through some iterations. And I'd like to pull up a little bit of what it looked like then. And after many conversations with the town of Waxhaw, with the county, we have a beautiful looking building that fits in with the design and concept of both Pep Boys and Caliber, and makes it uniform down the road. I think they did a great job. You'll see that this building actually sits below grade, so you're only really looking at the top floor of this building as you're coming down Providence Road, just because it sits down into a gully.
So this is the view from Providence, the
This
first?
is the view from Providence Road.
Okay.
Okay, and this, you'll see this, that in front there is the sidewalk, which the applicant is prepared to agree to revise that sidewalk or reconstruct that sidewalk to meet current grade and code.
Okay.
This, as I said, this concept has gone through several different types of iterations, but you can see it's much more palatable to the eye as you come into the site. The current site plan, which is now Exhibit 3, is, come on. There we go. So this is Exhibit 3. You'll see up here, we've allowed for that stub out to the road to the south
All right.
for Waxhaw, as Waxhaw had requested. Originally on the site plan, we were talking about possibly putting in the septic into this area, and conversations with the soil scientist, to whom has submitted a certified letter and stamped that letter, which I will ask to be submitted into evidence as Exhibit D. We'll provide a copy to the board.
Okay.
There's an area identified, I'll keep two of these, I'll give one over here. Exhibit D, soil sciences. You can see that the soil scientist, and asked this be admitted into evidence as Exhibit D, the soil scientist had set forth an investigation of the property, and based upon his investigation, you can see in paragraph 3, based upon the site evaluation, soil properties, texture, soil depth observed in soil profiles, the proposed septic area would be considered suitable for conventional, modified, conventional, or alternative drip OWTDSS system. What that is referencing, and you can see here, and that's on page 2 of those drawings that I gave you on the site plan, is up in this corner. And I will bring up the engineer to discuss this septic area here. We had some conversations with the county regarding the approval of the septic system, and we ran into some difficulty based upon what I believe is some vague aspects of the UDO, and I'm going to provide it to the board. Ask that the board mark and submit into evidence as part of the UDO, section 60.190 utilities. I'm going to pull this up on the monitor. No. And actually, before I go there, let me do this. As this board is aware, your powers after completion of the public hearing, the Board of Adjustments must take action to approve with conditions, or deny the special use application. Here's where I'm going to ask for you all to impose a condition on this property. I'm going to ask you all to impose a condition that a permit not be issued, construction permit not be issued until such time as plans and approvals for the sewer system are approved by the county. I think that's a reasonable condition. And here's why. What I've submitted as Exhibit D. In order to comply with this section, utility, let's see, not the public works, but sewage disposal facilities required. Every principal use in every lot within a subdivision must be served by sewage disposal facilities that are adequate to accommodate reasonable needs of such use or subdivision lot, and that facilities comply with all applicable public health regulations. Here's where it starts getting a little bit fun. The governmental agency with jurisdiction over proposed sewage disposal facilities, so that governmental agency is Public Works and/or Environmental Health, is authorized to determine whether the proposed development will comply with these standards, and the developer must comply with those detailed standards and specifications of that agency, obviously. The permit issuing authority, which is you, because you're issuing a special use permit. The permit issuing authority is authorized to rely upon a preliminary review by the agency with jurisdiction over the sewage disposal facilities to determine compliance with this. In my consultations and conversations with the county and with Public Works, was that they do not issue a preliminary review. It's either they'll issue you a permit or not a permit. Well, okay, how do I give you a preliminary review? I can give you a preliminary review with my soil scientist, who says to you that this would fit a conventional sewage. Do I have design plans? No. And that's why I'm asking this board to issue a condition. And the condition being that I can't get a construction permit until I have approved sewage treatment plans. And you'll see here in this statute, this last sentence captures that. However, the construction of such system may not be commenced until detailed plans and specifications have been reviewed and any appropriate permits issued by the agency with jurisdiction over the proposed sewage disposal facilities. So, do I feel that I need that condition based upon the actual language of the statute? No, but I'm asking for clarity's sake, that my client cannot go forward with the construction of this proposed facility until such time as they have approval from the governing agency or Public Works, Environmental Health. In this case, it would be Environmental Health because of the sewage component to it. We wouldn't be able to,
I have a question.
sure.
What does a storage facility, what wastewater do you have?
And I can bring up Mr. Brandeis, who is the engineer on the project, David Brandeis.
My name is David Brandeis. Do you need anything more than that?
That's-
Okay. Currently, the facility has one bathroom with two fixtures, a toilet and a urinal. The sewer load is about a third or a quarter of what a residential house would be. So we're less than about 500 gallons a day, excuse me, less than 200 gallons a day. The septic field is going to be very, very small. If that answers
Wait a
your
minute.
question.
It's only got one bathroom,
Correct. Two fixtures, one bathroom.
so your load would depend on how many people visited the storage facility.
There's two ways to do it. It's the number of people times the unit contributory load, which would be very low. There's a second way to do it, 250 gallons per day per fixture unit, which is a higher load. And we would tend to design the septic system on a higher load, which would be 500 gallons a day. But you're exactly correct. Based on the number of employees, 1 to 2, it would be less than 20 gallons a day.
Is this a timing issue? Were you just not able to get permitted in time for today?
That's correct. We had put off, we had put off our application a couple times to try to work out the issues. There was some hope possibly that we could pump into the sewer system, but there is no capacity. We were looking at that initial site plan that you saw and putting the sewer on that side. There might be a need now to service Pep Boys with the septic based on capacity issues. So we're trying to figure out a way out of a box that we're in at this point. And the request that it get approved or with that condition that we can't construct until we have plans in place, I think is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're not going to get a CO anyways unless you can pump your wastewater out of your facility, whatever you construct. So in the project design phase, and as I was explained to me, we come from the issuance of the permit by this board to then go into the project review stage. And it's at that project review stage that we would have those plans in place.
I'm not sure if you know or not the answer to this question, but Caliber Collision is under construction.
Yes, sir.
So I'm assuming they've got sewer capacity.
Is that right?
I don't. So they got capacity.
Under the particular rules about service stations, it was classified as a service station, they have up to 4,200 gallons per day. That is extremely more than they need. We're stuck into a 1970s code. We've worked with Union County on maybe making some adjustments to that, but we just can't get that done in the time frame.
So are you saying that there's a possibility that you could get the sewer system, this facility into the sewer system?
You asked me as an engineer, can it be done? Yes, but if you
Well, it's
ask me as
250 gallons of water a day. It's a shame that we haven't allocated that much space for a business.
It's an absolute
That's a black eye on our
disgusting
county.
for our county, to be honest with you, and I'm sorry to stand here and say that, but this is a joke that we got talking about maybe 250 gallons of sewage, and you gotta build a sewage plant for it, and that's just ridiculous. But I'm sorry. That's just my position. That just really bothers me greatly. But carry on. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do, right? You wanna open a building that's gonna bring a tremendous amount of taxes to Union County, but we can't get you sewer for it because we gave it to all these apartments and townhomes that popping up in every corner. Thank you. I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
So.
I'll get off my soapbox. Go ahead, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, unless, I believe that was one of the only other qualifications will comply with all, and what I'm doing is I'm going through the 5 factors, of course, that are set down in the
Absolutely.
UDO. So, and that's why I have all these individuals today to speak to each of those 5 factors. So, unless this board has any further questions regarding the utility component. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Well, it has to do with the water, the fire marshal issue.
Yeah, the fire marshal issue, what's that about?
Yes, and I can have Mr. Brandy speak to that as well. And this would come under the second condition, proposed development will not materially endanger public health and safety.
We've had conversations with Kevin Rigoli, who's the fire marshal. He asked the question about the access. Under the NFPA code, it's a 20-foot clear access all the way around the building. We provided that dimension on the new site plan. We sent an email to Kevin, copied planning, and Kevin responded back that yes, that meets the code. He did say, I'm not going to resend anything until you send it back through my workflow. You know, there's a process for that, but he did indicate, yes, that 20 feet is what the NFP code meets.
You, Mr. King, agree with that? Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As part of that second consideration, to speak upon the traffic conditions, I'd ask Mr. Joe Wilson to come up.
Okay.
I can put up whatever you'd like on here. Where are you? Anything you'd like to do on that, or would you like the site plan, or how would you like?
I don't necessarily need any of that.
Okay, perfect.
I'll say that there was a traffic study done for this in 2017 by another consulting firm. And then in 2022, May, Kimley
I'm
Horn.
sorry, your name? and-
Joe Wilson.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And your qualifications are?
I am a registered professional engineer in North Carolina,
right, thank you,
transportation engineer.
Okay, carry on, I'm sorry. Just want to make that for the record.
So based off the previous traffic study, we performed a tech memo once additional information on this was established. This is about 90% less traffic than what was originally estimated for the original study. So it's a large reduction in the volume of traffic. You can imagine a mini storage from commercial. So with that, the NCDOT and the town approved the scoping document, they approved the tech memo, and the division engineer with the NCDOT, Brett Knight, also added that with the TIP project, which is supposed to start construction 27, there's so many things that it's going to do that this development was not required to perform any improvements on Providence Road. It also established that the access that's being established with this parcel would be full movement, and it would continue to be full movement in the future, but signalized with the project. The current access to the, I guess it would be the north, would most likely be reverted to a right in, right out.
Okay. Any questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'd ask Ms. Caitlin McMahon to come up, if she would, please. Can you please state your name for the record?
My name is Caitlin McCain, and I'm a certified general licensed real estate appraiser in North and South Carolina.
I'm sorry, Ms. McCain, I called you Ms. McMahon.
It's fine.
I apologize. Ms. McCain, can you tell the board your qualifications?
Like I said, I'm a licensed certified general real estate appraiser in North and South Carolina. I have a master's in real estate development and finance from UNCC, and I have a bachelor's degree in real estate from Virginia Tech.
And you were asked to perform a task on this project, is that right?
Yes, I performed an impact study regarding the values of the abutting property.
And what did you use to perform this impact study and base your evaluation on?
So I focused on comparable self-storage developments throughout the Charlotte MSA, and I also analyzed this project's conformity with the surrounding neighborhood.
And what were your determinations?
I determined that this proposed development will not negatively impact the values of abutting property.
Have you had any feedback from any of the neighbors regarding this project?
I have not.
Is your opinion then to a reasonable degree of certainty that the development will not have a negative impact upon adjoining or abutting properties?
Yes.
And that opinion is?
My opinion is that the value of the surrounding properties will not be negatively impacted by this project.
Unless there's any questions from the board? Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So the development will be in harmony with the surrounding area. I'd ask the applicant to come forward, if you would, please. Can you state your name for the record?
Matt Garavaglia.
And sir, who are you with?
So I'm with BestBox, storage developer. I've been in the business for 15 years, developing anywhere from California to Florida, North Carolina, St. Louis. So we currently have around 40 developments throughout the country.
And what need did you see here in this area?
So self-storage is used 1 out of every 10 households, and this market in a 3-mile and 5-mile radius is very undersupplied. So there's a necessary demand for the area for a Class A facility, and this is what we're hoping to bring to the table as a Class A self-storage facility.
And it looks a little bit different than what your usual Best Box is.
Yes, so fortunately, unfortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, is we did add a lot of brick and to the facade and glazing for the glass to really conform with the area with a lot of earth tones, and got away from some of our standard colors, but ultimately we felt this was the best path forward with the neighborhood and conforming. And I just want to reiterate how important it is for us to make sure that our neighbors are happy with our product, because I think it's 70% of our customers come from a 3-mile radius. So it's very important that, you know, we have something that the neighborhood can feel comfortable and safe to come to.
And part of that was to bring out those accents, to bring out the windows and the brick and the facade, is that right?
Correct.
And your goal was to make it so it was in harmony with the surrounding area.
Yes.
And you feel you've done that?
Yes, we have.
Does any board member have a question for the applicant?
I know a bunch of storage places. Are y'all, where's your closest location to here? Are y'all new to the market, or?
So we're relatively new to
Yeah.
this market. We, our prior partners developed one up on South Boulevard.
Okay.
It was a extra space storage up on South Boulevard, I believe 5 years ago, and that was recently sold.
Cool.
So new to the Waxhaw area in this Union County, but
Welcome to the community.
yes.
Good, thank you, sir.
Thank
All
you.
right. Any other questions?
And if I may just have the owner of the property come forward for a moment. Can you state your name for the record?
Stephen Rosenbrough.
And are you a managing member of the Providence Commons?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you own both the lots that we saw that's being developed for Best Box, as well as the neighboring property, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what I'm talking about is this property back up here where the septic or drainage field would go.
That's correct. We've owned the entire 26 acres for 5 years as we've gone through the development process.
And as part of this application, you are willing and committing to providing an easement for that septic if necessary for approval.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. If anyone has any questions for the owner?
I guess I have a question about the topology of that property. I mean, I think it slopes, doesn't it slope down from where the Best Box is proposed? So I'm not sure how that's going to work. I guess if,
From a drainage point of view, sir?
yes.
Yeah. So if you look at the back of the property, where it's still treed and will remain treed, that's where stormwater runoff will run into there.
Okay, all right. And the septic system will be Um,
It'll be out of that, up on the side of the hill.
okay.
And a very small septic system.
Clearly only 200. Is there an intent to, I guess there's extra land there, but I guess question, I guess at some point develop the rest of that?
We'd like to, we've been dealing with different concepts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you're gonna get sewage, because we don't have any left, unless you build houses or apartments, they'll probably give you for that, but not, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Anyway. Yeah, nice, I just wondered, because there's this, how much land is left back there that's usable?
About
Quite-
15
Yeah,
acres.
quite a bit, yeah, okay. Yep, okay.
We've been developing in the county since 2006. We did the Stonebridge Golf Course.
Sure,
Several
yeah,
other
absolutely,
projects, so it's,
You're not new to the county, huh? Understand. And this parcel, that, you still own this parcel that's gonna be between the storage and the,
yes, sir.
so that's still available for somebody, I guess, at some point. so.
We've had some interest in it, and
Yeah.
people are assessing what the best use for the community is.
Absolutely, okay.
Thank you, sir.
I would ask also, if I could, before you sit down, you're good with the connector to the town Waxhaw that he's promoted, right? You good with all that?
We are, we had it from day one.
Good, okay.
In reality, it's going to be a little difficult for that landowner because of the difference in elevation.
That's not your problem.
It's,
All right.
And one other thing, is this proposed development, do you commit that this proposed development be in harmony with the comprehensive plan?
yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any further questions?
I guess I have a question. I think I kind of missed it. Traffic and egress and ingress
Yes, sir?
off of Providence. It wasn't kind of glossed over the traffic control signals.
See if I can bring that up.
I think we've discussed that in the past with some of the other development. You know, like the caliper, but I'm not sure if there are any plans for the exit and entrance into the property.
Yes, there are two access points. Access 1 and access 2. The access for the mini storage is access 2. It is a full movement with a right out, a through, and a left. And then there is a signal, when warranted, most likely it will be put in with the DOT project because it's currently not warranted. So if it were warranted, it would be in our recommendations to put in, but it doesn't meet the warrants, and DOT doesn't allow you to have a signal unless at least 3 of the 7 warrants are met.
Now, did I understand you to say that the proposed work will be in 2027?
Yes, sir.
And that's the widening,
That's the
Yes.
widening that depending on what the state does, and that could happen in 2027 or 2097. But, you know, we've been hearing it for years. But, okay, as far as the secondary entrance, will you be able to take a left or not? Is there gonna be one of those concrete things that won't let you take a left?
When the project occurs, it will convert that because there'll be a median, and so therefore you can only make a right.
You can only, gotcha, because I see that all the time now, so you can only make right. So we won't be blocking traffic going downtown Waxhaw, because they don't need it blocked anymore, it's already blocked. So, yeah, gotcha. All right,
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Any further questions from the board?
anybody?
As such, we'd ask the board accept the application, issue the special use permit with the recommendation. We will agree to the recommendations that were proposed by the county as well.
Okay.
Thank
Before
you.
you finish up, you have 5 exhibits, the application, or the pictures, the new site plan, the soil report, and something from the UDO. I know you've moved them all into evidence. I'm not sure they were all accepted. So it might be helpful for you just to move them all in.
Would I
Well-
ask to move all of the packets, previous
Uh,
exhibits into evidence?
I'll accept their,
Thank you.
thank you, sir. I apologize if I didn't do that, but, Mr. King, if you could come back up just for me, just some housekeeping, to make sure I know what we're doing here. The slide you had with the concerns that you had, there were like 4 things. Can you pull that back up? I just want to make sure we got those all covered. You know what I'm talking about? Where you talked about the fire marshal, we talked about that, but I just want to make sure the other ones are. It does look a lot prettier now than it did on that, by the way. Hey, brick ain't cheap though, is it? Yeah, this one. So, the sewer capacity issue we've talked about. Adding the, sub out for the next, okay. They've agreed to sidewalk. We're gonna fix the sidewalk.
sir.
Okay. And the fire marshal has sent, Mr. King, you've agreed that you've gotten communication from him that,
Yeah, as the engineer stated, he said he would not reverse his comments,
Until-
but that providing you
Gotcha.
site plan going through the workflow, that he would approve it.
everybody okay with these 4 things being met?
So the,
And we're all-
20 feet all the
20
way
feet all the way around, right?
That's good enough?
Yep. Fire marshal's okay.
Originally in the notebook, we've got a concern about a fire hydrant. Has that been taken care of?
That was addressed.
Yeah, that, on the site plan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Todd, that's the site plan that we have.
Yeah,
So the new site plan shows a fire hydrant.
it should be right there on Providence Road, kind of in the center of the project.
Man, I need my glasses tonight. There's a lot of little writing there, but I believe you. Okay, I see it. Okay. I think that's what that says, isn't it? Does that say fire hydrant right
In
there?
the
No.
top left corner of the building.
So, yeah, it's in this area right here.
Oh, it's back there.
Yeah.
I can't, oh, yep, that's it. Water line, new water line, new FH, I guess that's what that says. Gotcha, right back in the back corner, you see it.
Well, do you have to supply your own water to their hydrant?
Kinda giving you water, or you gotta dig a well, I don't know.
We got water.
Don't let me started, y'all need to shut
Say
up.
we use it from the bathroom, that's probably not gonna be funny at this point.
Been on this board 18 years, and it's the first time this has ever happened. All right. Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. King? All right. This time, is board, any more questions before we close this public hearing? Because once we close it, it's closed. Questions? Okay. This time, the public hearing is closed. We need now to move into deliberations. The first issue we need to discuss for a special use permit is the proposed use and development comply with all regulations and standards generally applicable within the zoning district and specifically applicable to the particular type of special use. Comments, please. We need to make some comments.
The applicant's response to these questions, if you want to look at them on the back of the 4th page.
4th page. Sometimes the applicant does a good job and sometimes they don't.
I
But
hope,
Mr. Dugan is the man. Duggan, I said Dugan. Duggan. And, okay. He says, true, in addition to being in compliance with Union County regulations and standards, the project will comply with the Waxhaw Nixon conditional rezoning development standards and conditions CZ 2017-001 attached in this application. Okay, any other things we need to add to that?
Well, we will be modifying the condition for the sewer, for the septic.
Yes, absolutely, as they requested, that, and in the motion, we will have to make sure we add that as he requested, that we will, if we have a motion to approve it, we'll have to include a condition that it is conditional upon the approval of the sewer, Union County Public Works approving the sewer system, so, yeah.
You want to add,
I don't know that we need to add that to this, but
Okay.
definitely need to add it to a motion, but I think that, but, so. Any other discussion on that one? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. That's unanimous. Number 2, the proposed development will not materially endanger the public health or safety. The submitted traffic impact analysis provides for recommendations which will be adopted as part of this development. Appendix G, all services and utilities are available to the site, and development will not have a negative impact on such utilities given, except with the fact it's not going to have county sewer. It doesn't say that, but that's what I see. The property will be serviced by the county water, and well, see, there it goes. We'll have a separate septic service for wastewater. The project will be subject to all grading and soil erosion control permits, which we all know that's the case. Anything else we need to add to this one?
I guess the revised site plans are acceptable to fire standards as far as.
Yeah, that's either that or, yeah, that is part of it. You're right. Revised site plan. Yeah, okay with the fire marshal for access. Anything else to add to that one? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item number 3, the proposed development will not substantially injure the value of the abutting property or is a public necessity. Submitted as part of the application, the financial impact analysis prepared by Cooper and McCain, certified real estate appraiser. The analysis prepared demonstrates a lack of substantial negative impact, and we've heard the testimony from Ms. McCain tonight. Any other additions to this one? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Number 4, the proposed development will be in harmony with the area in which it is located. The proposed development will meet all conditions set out in the Waxhaw-Nixon conditional rezoning development standards and conditions. Project is located on main transportation corridor. I'd also add to that one that they have revised it to make it look pretty like the Caliber Collision and Pep Boys, and it will meld with them. And they also spend some money on North Carolina, I hope, brick. Any other questions? Any other? All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Number 5, the proposed development will be in general conformity with the comprehensive plan. The proposed development will be in general conformity with the previously approved Waxhaw-Nixon development plan. I think we all agree. We approved a collision center and a car repair center right next door. This is pretty much right in line. Any other things we need to add? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, do we have a motion? And make sure we word this thing right, because it's going to be a big one probably.
Well,
You writing this down? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve with staff recommendations being met and the conformity to the county for the sewer, and also if they can work it out to get on the sewer, that would be acceptable too.
I like that one. Anything else?
Yeah, I think the first part of that, maybe create the construction permitting would be contingent on final approval by the, Public Works of the.
Motion to approve staff recommendation
Environmental health.
being conform with environmental health sewer approval. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that good? You okay with that?
I'm good with it.
And to work with the county and call somebody that's got some sense and see if we can't find 200 gallons of sewer.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a second?
So can you just read that back to me again?
I'm gonna try. Motion to approve with staff recommendations being met and also conforming and with the Union County confirming Union County environmental health sewer approval. Also work to try to get county sewer without having private sewer. Do I have a second? All right, we have a second. Do you see who that was? Okay, Mr. Wood. Have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you all. Any other items to come before the board this evening?
We have enough to approve, or did we approve some short section?
Well, they're not on the agenda that I see. I didn't see them on the agenda. I'm sorry. I see they're here, but I didn't see them on the agenda, so I
Thank you, Mr. Doug.
flew it right by it.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, hearing nothing else. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is our training to do?
Training will be located in across the hall over here. Was that here?
Yeah,
Well, right when you first walk down the hall there on the left.
yes.
It's behind here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.